welcome viewers to another exciting episode of the Mr. Eo podcast. Today, too, we have an interesting topic to discuss with my two special guests, Mr. Eo and Kelvin. So let's welcome them as we discuss this topic. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, boss.
Hope you're all doing
I was great.
good. Okay, we thank God. So today we have something very interesting to discuss. And I think we've all heard of this thing for pessimism and optimism. Okay, so without wasting much time, I want you to share your views on this thoughts so that our viewers can actually know what we are talking about. Mr. Yo,
Thank you very much for the opportunity once again to be here. It's always a pleasure to be here. And we also thank God that He always bring us still to be again when everything goes on. So this is a very interesting topic to be frank. And I think if you are going to do well in life, and these two things are very, essential that you have to what, study it well and then know when to use, them interchangeably. Okay. So when we talk about pessimism, we are talking about, somebody or a group of people that expect, bad outcome of a situation or a particular thing. Yeah. So for instance, if they are into something, they are always, thinking about the outcome to be bad, and they always think that the end result is not going to work or is not going to happen. Yeah. So this is what pessimism, pessimism is about, expecting bad outcome or making sure that the thing that will happen will not be a good thing. Okay. And that's it, is the opposite of what optimism. So these people or is the expectations that you have at the end of a particular thing being good, or you expect that at the end of it something good will happen. Yeah. So looking at the let's say the optimism, like mostly people relate them to be those who are willing to make something out of life. Yeah. And as the saying goes, too much of everything is bad. Yeah. You can be optimist, but still you might not do well because sometimes you might not care about some important things that you have to be pessimistic about. Yeah. For instance, there are some situations, no matter what, the outcome is going to be what's bad. But because of your faith and because of the things maybe you've been open up to, you think that the outcome is going to be good. So sometimes you encourage yourself with some words, thinking the end result is going to be good. So we end up being depressed, and we also end up by being disappointed. Yeah, because you were expecting the outcome to change, but it can't be changed. Yeah. So it's very good and very important that you study the two because both of them have their what advantages and their disadvantages. So if you think that being optimistic is all that you need, then you are wrong. You are wrong. Yeah. So sometimes you expect the bad because as we are discussing, I'll talk about the disadvantages and the advantages. Then you come to the understanding that it is good to go through the two because if somebody hear about optimism or pessimism, sometimes they always they are always interested in the what optimism aspect. But some people are very pessimistic in life and they are making it. To be frank, yes. So that's what I understand about it, and it's a very interesting topic. Okay.
thank you very much for your thoughts. Mr. Kelvin, can you share your views?
Okay. Thank you once again for the opportunity. My boss has said it all.
Okay.
So, with the topic of pessimism and optimism, he has given us the basic understanding. Pessimism being the tendency to expect negative outcomes in a solution or something. Whilst optimism is the tendency to, let's say, expect positive outcomes. As he's saying, in my understanding, I would say it affects lots of things we do in our daily lives as well. When it comes to decision making, the way we think, our thought process, and stuff like that. He's right. There are pessimistic people that are making it in the world. Yeah, sure. There are also optimistic people that are making it. Yeah. The one thing I would want to add is that there's pessimism and realism. Realism being you actually seeing the world as it is. For example, you are not expecting a bad outcome. You are not expecting a positive outcome. You know it could be positive or negative, right? So to me, I would say the pessimism, it will have its positive sides at the standard, yeah, and also have its negative side. But I would say the negative sides outweigh the positives, yeah. And with optimism, I mean, it doesn't hurt to think positive. So yeah, I would say the optimism also has advantages and negative sides as well. So that's something small.
So listening to both of you, I've got to understand that pessimism as it stands, people have been quoting that it's always bad to be pessimistic and optimistic. But since you are saying that it has its positive aspects, then I would like you to elaborate on that. So that you know.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak on that aspect. So when we are talking about, I think I should start so that I should start from the optimism, then come back to the pessimism. So if you look at the optimism, for instance, some of the advantages are it gives you a clear focus. For instance, if you're doing something and then you are always expecting something good out of it, like you are always focused because you know that at the end of it, something good will come out of it. But here's not the case. If you're doing something and at the end you know that the end result you're going to get is bad, you wouldn't focus on that. Okay. And scientifically, it has been approved that people who are very optimistic, they live long because they don't think about bad things. Even though, as you said, realism, I'll come there. See, it's real. You can't do something about it, anything about it. Although it's like that, but they don't encourage themselves with it. They try to beat that. Yeah. So let me give a clear example of optimism here. For instance, let's say there is a river here, and because of the river, it's like let's say it's blocking maybe another town from having access to us, or we having access to the other town. Somebody who is very optimistic will come in and they will construct a bridge so that through that bridge you can have a connection with the people at the end of the what do you call it? Okay. So that's that's one example of it. So the thing seems to be possible. You try and think things about it and make sure that the outcome becomes what's good. For instance, maybe you are into selling, or let's say you are a trader. You want to go to the other town because they need your service, and you don't have any bridge, you don't have any canoe, you don't have anything, like there is no access. You can't go to that place and what sell. But if there is this bridge, or let's say as in a canoe, boat and those stuff, you can have access. But when God created this world, He created a river. He didn't create any canoe or what bridge. So people who are very optimistic, they bring something good to life. As I said, so it's very good to be very optimistic. But one disadvantage about being optimistic is, for instance, some things are real, but we try to change it, but it can't be changed. For instance, trying to get cure for maybe or let me make it in this way. For example, people are like, oh, yeah, people who will grab. Like there are some things you can't do anything about it. Because if you study philosophy, well, you will realize that death is very good for human beings. Yeah. But it's not your time. You might think it's something wrong. I knew a relative who was very, ill, and he was battling with a serious disease. Charlie, yeah. The Bible said that we the function for souls. Am I right? Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes like you're optimistic, but your money bros, as I said. For instance, the Suomuna, nitrogen, we have a carbon, say it and then sugar pump. Also, for the maintenance of conscious of the monsoon nature, when you grass. You understand? So we are taking the realism away, but the realism is part of the nature. Or is the open, some things are very real. Yes. Whatever. So there are some things that as youth out there, yes, you open say anything basic. So what you have to do, prepare yourself for so that it will come and then meet you in a good situation.
Okay.
For instance, you can say, oh, tsunami be basic, storm be beba, within the engineering Christoni. Or what question then the measures in place also in this one. So you are going to that. Let's use the what do you call it? This outbreak. Yes, a corona. Yes, people like in Africa it wasn't severe, but I've had people they were Africans and they were in the diaspora. So like there are some people they had some and it was real, but the people who were following the instructions, actually some of them I can say that they did not die. But those who ignored it, saying that oh they are following their faith and other stuff without observing the protocols. Now most of them are not in existence. You see, and I was so happy that at that time pastors were even enforcing that because there are some things they are spiritual. You can do with it in the spiritual way, and there are some of them too. You can't do anything about it in the spiritual way. You should do something about it in the physical way. For instance, if you are being cursed by any river or any, shrine in those, affected prison, like if you go to any pastor, they will tell you that go and reverse the case. So, or like, don't they have the power to, do something about it? But rather, they will tell you to go to the, the idol and then reverse the case. So there are some things like real. You see that. So you must know that if you always think that or you be optimistic, things will go on well for you. It wouldn't work. Let's bring it into business. Or you are doing business, you think every day you're going to make profit. You can psych your mind in that way. It's going to help you, but expect the other side. See, so this when the pessimism comes in. Don't trust everybody 100%. The person will break your heart. Sorry, the person will break your heart. So it's not always the case that you should be 100% about a particular school of thought, like the pessimism and this. So they vary, and you should know when you vary them. So it's very, very important. So I can give such several examples. You see that. So it's not always that you should be, optimistic. And know when to be optimistic, but that one should be more. That one should be more. If you are striking the percentage, I would say be optimistic, like let's say 99%, and the 1% will be, pessimistic. So it's very important. And let's come to the pessimism aspect. If you look at the advantage of the pessimism, because the pessimism it's of its disadvantage. But there is this important thing about the pessimism, as like they relate. So it will be like I'm going back, but I'm saying a different thing. So the pessimism, for instance, the realism is under pessimism. And there are some things, no matter what you do, it will happen. Yeah. What's your mind? Vapor name, smoke name, there wasn't every debility. You can pray to amend those things. It wouldn't work. What I say. So pessimism when they say okay, and yet me yet say I was then I wouldn't go and bend those things. What I say. So the pessimism brings awareness So they call it, if you read another topic, it is called risk awareness. You see, so we are going to risk something, but you become aware of yourself. So okay, cool. I think I may mention anything. Let's say it was only an essay, so you effect. If you have a bomb more, and I have a time and you say anymore. So we have just one like you see, they will mind the bus, but ocean now they buy Facebook Christian or zero. Yami aboni ya so mama bi si we nkwan keke say some layer. Our kanema sa a message. What I say. If you are pessimistic in some way, the more we are like aware of some things, and then you veer away from some risk. I am here to take it. As I said, what I said. What we say, or my own in a relationship, red flags no person. So they put them in both. I'm not anything outside. I'm not anything like glasses on now. Ujaba say on away. You see that? So all those things now you see that the negative outweigh the positive. Then you find your way. What I say. Yeah, I did that yesterday. So because if you look at what we call it, the advantage of the optimism, it reduces that kind of depression and other stuff. Because all being good, if you're all being good, but pessimistic, all being negative. What I say, it's in a way like so let me go back to the importance or the benefit of the pessimism. So you see, as I said, it's very good to like sometimes to be what pessimistic. Yeah, because one advantage is preparation. It makes you prepared for some bad, thing coming your way. See, like the coronavirus, for instance, when it was coming, the nations that were very serious about the measures, they put the measures in place. So they prepared. The risk is, the problem is coming. They can't run away from it. So what you have to do, prepare and meet it by what? Bringing your vaccine and those things. Okay, what we say, maybe to see the way and money and koi so whatever. You prepare, not enough for be a hospital, they are specialized in that. Then they take care of it. Before we did the money, say. Sometimes you didn't be all the work on pie, but my physical aspect is on cost. You see that? And we are pessimistic in a way, so I'm more prepared. You are always prepared. Because okay, is the news you had a pa, but when you are near berry. Again, on the opposite, okay, not to be we see a decation. What about your own 7 pies so full to most young cat? And when you prepared, we are optimistic, although we did not but if you want to come on, we are going to perform in the exam. But your gene won't tell me say, Charlie, I didn't want to see a team look from that. If you are allowed to like no good reading and never power. I say, when I go was in him. According to the boss, you know, my own going my kindness. I said, no, but come over, geese. But I could have also boss. We have near the one idea. But I say, one could be. So it's the same thing. Sometimes you want to say, risk they back. Who have business or book. You know, we are working in master. You throw the laziness. You won't free, you won't know support for directions. You see those things. Sometimes you are optimistic, like you're not also. You are not saying that being optimistic and yet, but like you know hard. Yes, so prepare yourself to work some things out. My employee didn't need money then cost you. And some of it can be the other way around. So problem is spiritual. Now saying doctors and so. You see that? So hey, I know you say it's all working on what spiritual. You can't tell me say you have a financial issue. What do you call so for? Me and task woman. Nobody can tell me say I should go for a go to a pastor to like a kubon for prosperity this I don't know. Me I don't believe in it anymore. Me yet there millions to see and maybe sure can remember. Who pays care who your business so no one shows the business. Sounds like we are this spiritual also for no more pain. See, that's one thing making us lazy in Africa or let's say in Ghana. That's it. We think that oh our business not doing well, when we go for direction from pastors, it will do well. No, it's good. The pastor might not even be in that business that you find yourself in. So the pastors that may be able to help you, no, not because maybe they are spiritual, but they've done something similar to that business. So they will give you an advice. Okay, you say, never fine. What about those who doesn't believe in God at all, but they are prospering in business? It's a more prosper in business or more finances for you. It's then solving every problem with the right approach. You understand? So that's it. And one thing I think I've said it all: preparation, risk awareness, and then the realism. The realism is another thing. There are some things won't mean every digital na prepare on my damages now they are reducing. We have an enemy. Oh, I mean, maybe or penny. The dialogue club. The video more boy message. Thinking so my life and living in the and when you like that, who's okay, me no chale and fall. They can maybe at the end of it, not coming back. And who do those things? Not so measures be young castle club or banana common inside one, but do it at the right time. When the money is in, when life is doing well, what I say. And guys will may now for numbers, so I let you who sit down, or more for cars. It will be one more. You understand? And they ask me, Mom, so that's what I can say about it.
Because I wanted to ask about that. Let's say, is there a line between pessimism and the realism? But it seems like probably in hand. So, probably let's ask you this question. There are some people around. You can see that others are really pessimistic and others are optimistic. But you feel people think that actually it's a warm. So, is there a case that one should I say, it is now will be that from bed, not or pessimistic, not so optimistic from bed.
Okay, there can be maybe, okay, let me start this thing. It could be hereditary. Parents no more, maybe stand about humanity, waiting be a worker. But science, I would say, it's the way the child was brought up. Don't feel. Because so you said, and said, focus on trying in you. Now, when you are, and kind of say, you're optimistic, you will be a pessimistic, you then run out chili. We am fat. You pay something. And you know, fat, and kind of thing. You won't be optimistic in any way because on men or not to be a pessimistic. Or you be first thing about him is say, oh, we cry and fat. Because more training is yeah. The man's state of mind, you know. Also, what you will do is
Yeah, it's very nice question, but yeah, me like what I think about this thing is like if it's more about a brown and mistake, you know, you think that part of me, but as like when I grew up. Say yeah, I've realized that a new is most is a green papa. But I say like okay, mommy make an example. Yes, for baby, Umiaki 10 years, or hotel take be and a mom, who pay here, mom, and then I'll mean the BGD. Say my bed or it's always we are ready to pay for money back. Yes, I may pay any public account, you know, they may pay for family. Yes, I feel you say you are not mind. Yeah, but yeah, depression, may heartbreaks, miss animal is but trust. Like, which dependency or relationship or who say, it is yeah. Assuming you move on. But why what you said, but when you doing it, your DNA or catching some here. I'm saying, Delilah. Yeah, it's not. You know, sister, all those say, son of feet here. But one thing I mean, a woman uniqueness there. The what ye I want to mean, Pensa. It's me who is any power me, I don't care. Sometimes when you look at the things they do, how many are what they are working with enough crime, but just a poor man's in the you see that you have to change your way. And even if you listen to every great man cry, the only thing I'm trying to say, if you want to be great in life, you should adapt change. What didn't change the last year? Skills now, your business not so cool, that's what you're in. You get the same results. Okay, last year, now make a study for say. Next year, like, like, same development. Obu aha emo say me baba say mo mo ye bia season for from obe clear store nya no say I show for ukoko baba say nya shop from or what be muda what I say oh create some things bia mo say no there are some different things here no what I say to be person be part the corner about am what you mean it's like the same thing what I say okay, I was but when you have waiting here from much excess crack, no, Nancy one day, can you say no? The one my main so so Nami or Heleba, Kangu, no one is alive and it's make it hard. Oh, who live like who don't mammy Muda, no one who are married. Oh, do you know so these measures in a book? No, it's not said. So blame you be and I mean, Miss Anna change my answer. Like, no failure will fail you. Eh, Obi want to know feeling now says on phones on my Miss Anna no Cassa, till no ambassa. So we should bring these things in mind. Say, you can't blame anybody for your life. And I didn't hear in naming can positive things now. No, when the question will be some more person. When I'm saying you're in a young name, no. Choose the right path. You understand? So you to me it's no yet day. I'm a mechanic, you know. This one you be okay. No, I say you okay. Number of close here, so see feel me to me must see me as I'm a oh, there you. It's no show background in yen name be I immediately. And I show background in yen name the same and I send you understand? Yes, also some ways. Don't blame anybody for your life. No, don't give yourself that chance. Try my own thinking. Go and I mean, my you be a woman to it. Namiade, now and they say no, we can or see or say to bar or fellows who is it? More only guys know I'm with you. I'm saying, we are standing more in a house. Yes. No one be able to know we are human being for once when you know one man of crime who are Charlie who been yes some and be answer like that. So now more encourage more say a media woman or a pessimistic may positive. No. At the end of the one and opposite a truth ma woman better than a brother Hannes showing. Say about when you're accident, a CMP motor records, or could you when you're accident, you wait for a number of man and cool down. Oh, yeah, Coco. Oh, Cassapa, you know, custom of a man day of a fire lawyer. The doctors were guabo, yes, you could have. Or Pano could they feel you. Or Hana best about women for Jimmy it's no, it is time, meaningfully anybody for our life. No. Well, going in my complete you, yeah, must put more opportunity. Money, I'm pretty money. What I say, huh? You understand how good group, if not that, but I pay your question. There are some people like that. Said I want to take care of me because I made the money in sheets and say, okay, me say intense time. But there are some people that okay, who are high, you know, or no, or say sorry to use this word, area to say, open normal way, or say you fees are normal and what I'm saying. Nti obu wɔ ha ne upbringing ne affect no no need way of so live ya but me na be try about say who need no still I then make sure so best stand in man why the right thing out for yourself because at the end of the day what how you am so thank you very much.
Okay. The topic is getting very interesting. And okay, let me put some time for me. From the emotion, so it means that pessimism and optimism which may affect your mental health somehow. Yes. Okay. Your mental health. So can you give me some brief something about this? How can pessimism and optimism affect your mental health very good?
Okay, my mental health. That will affect your mental health. I don't believe that it might affect your mental health that significantly. Because maybe when you say pessimism and optimism here in a state of mind. They say maybe for example your kind a person may feel how rather than feel. Optimistic person, you be like, oh, okay, this might build the bridge and you know drum. But that's a state of mind or kind of positive and sound or two and a half. Pessimistic and so or become we men and drum, we see human who do we be bit mercy. Nti kono what you can drink negative and sound or but there are people they think negative before, but their mental saying reaction to the thoughts they have is different. We bit can say, oh, say anything to me, and as we can say, oh, my training will say, a possible say, we bit much. See, I will take this care, and I know can risk assessment via. So it affecting your mental health. Yeah, I do not believe say will affect the crowd that significantly.
Okay, so you're going to say if you are being pessimistic, optimistic on
Yeah,
and it didn't go as you planned,
yeah.
can't it affect your mental health?
In American, it won't be that significant because one, as I was also saying, there should be realism, advantages of optimism or
There's some people who are
completely optimistic.
optimistic thinking, or expecting the worst outcome, but
Sure.
and they say bridge or crossing a
Okay.
that instance now the mental health business a bit more impact also.
Okay, it shouldn't be that massive because I see the mere fact that you're optimistic doesn't mean that you shouldn't think failure isn't true. Okay. Because everyone knows that in the growth process in failure is one mistake. One failure, one mistake we are here, and one mistake we are here, we are not going to move forward. Okay. So it affects my mental health in the IT that if something like that happens to a optimistic person, it's all mental. It should be a lesson. Yeah, it shouldn't be. It's not something on that scale set to affect your mental health. That's what it's not to do with.
I would like to comment. Say if you want to do a research about optimism, I want to know, but somebody with market say the main benefit of being optimistic is mental health. I'm challenging everybody out there who can start saying all the negative things so operating positive. What is clear now saying with food. And then every other person don't come to you. It affects our brain, it affects our mind, it affects our life. It's very, very serious. I did hear our baby and it's the other. I'm sorry, so I'm not but then okay, because let me try this. I don't know why then. Also, I have to for them. So that is very, very important thing. Depression. Depression may be very you say, okay, Papa doing things on there. Okay, for me to try get and on there. But you should be resilient. That's the point. Be resilient. Don't just I'm for you. That's the time. What about? It's in the car. What will you do?
okay, near don't see I'm coaching. Nothing I'm coaching, but I'm feeling here. So one year in the back, I'm sure the next time some treat you in here. Think about already, but it's better I'll be like, oh, to the upper shoulders, the way the man when they be. You get me out. And then how to, especially when the kind of wonder that this guy thinking. Make sure all of them more. Make sure we get away. I mean, by yes, the yard. Well, you know, ah, you see, you're changing your university life, you know. Say, it's got thinking yet. Because the teacher got guys, if you're class, yeah, but you know, it's so much. But I thank God, always I thank God, say, any changing me. And you may, okay, I could, maybe I'm in time of one is an account. But that particular even, yeah, no way. My academic excellence and engineering. First semester GPA 4.0, now I'm 2 My children who eyes boy, it's like catching them boy, because I used to teach people in that particular course. But I look at the case I'm getting E. Hey, so saying, they didn't want to boy, and it's changing my life. It's negative, like it will come. Don't expect them too much, but when it comes, don't let that thing discourage you. Wash cutting is a lot of 1 billion. What for sure about 2 million? It's a great that my phone of a phone speak to that master. The greater yes, so the mental illness. I'm going Jane, what Jim was here, shit. What was you for saying? I shouted the ocean. Go out, wait, let's see the after maybe say and that's what we first from an answer. Yeah, so when you say I think you do part two of it, sure you have to do part two of it. So that you will dive into this very US again many years need to be very interesting. It can be a very interesting presentation. Let's see. So, as you said, we have to do something on this session. We thank you all for your time and your audience. Stay blessed, and also if you want to enjoy more of this episode, do well to like, subscribe, and share. Our YouTube channel handle is Mr. Iwo Podcast as well as the Mr. Iwo Podcast. Please do well to subscribe and share. Thank you very much for your time.